Seminole Nation to Friday Night Lights. Man, it feels good to be back in the booth. It's your boy John Smith, and we have the absolute banger classic today, the National Championship Game rematch of the Conference Championship game here between Utah and FSU. FSU, of course, the #1 team in the nation. Utah, the second team in the nation, in the same conference as well, so you already know this is an intense rivalry. It's about to be heated between these two teams. I cannot wait to get into it. FSU and Utah have been so consistent week after week after week, and it has been an absolute joy to watch. And I'm sure we're going to see way more of that here tonight. We're going to see Utah first, as their offense is going to get out onto the field and get the ball. Going to get our first look at Rado. And of course, that elite running back duo between Bo and Azell. And you already know that they got Light and Sebastian out there, wide receiver as well. So I cannot wait to see this elite offensive team get it moving. And of course, how could I forget about Mr. Zeke Moore? But as we all know, this offense runs through Bo, block for Bo. We see him out there, superstar running back. FSU is going to have to game plan for that, try their best to contain the run to the best of their abilities. And we do see that early on with a huge stop, no gain, just back to the line of scrimmage. And that's exactly what FSU is going to be looking for. On the FSU defense, of course, we have the incredible cornerback. And we have a quick jump flag there, so we got a free play. They're definitely going to be declining that, as they do get the first down there. Well done by Utah. FSU, of course, has some fantastic options on defense. Elijah Wagner, middle linebacker. Davon Wendy's, who is one of the best corners in the league, along with Adriel Maddox at safety. So, definitely be on the watch for those guys. I expect them all to come out here hot. We all know how important this game is. They want to make a statement going into the playoffs. They want to make sure that they are the dominant team. I know both these guys, in the server are going to be talking that smack. I know you guys in the comments are going to be talking that smack. So I can't wait to see this one. I really think it's going to be back and forth. And I'm just excited to get a chance to call it, man. I'm super hyped. My first quote-unquote playoff call. This is a conference championship, but it's like our intro to the playoffs. So I'm loving being up here. It's great to be back. We're going to see the quick pitch out to Bo. Tries to get to the outside. Fantastic block. Tons of room to run. That boy is gone. Is he gone? Can they catch him? No, that is a massive touchdown for Bo Sanders. Absolutely lethal, as that is his 5th rush for over 20 yards, putting a stamp on this game right at the beginning. Utah coming out hot. And as we've seen all season long, if you let Utah take the lead and get going early, you are going to be in for a very long night. And what a run by Bo. Fantastic block to create that gap, and then just having mountains and mountains of space in order to get it going, setting them up for the very early, very fast 7-0 lead. Wow. What a drive, folks. What a drive. That's not a whole lot else to say on that one, but man, is that a quick statement. 77-yard crusher out of Utah. And Florida State, man, I already know how this rivalry is. They're going to come back and they're going to try to do their best to respond here in this conference championship game. Can't be caught sleeping. As FSU, we're going to get our look at the main man, Jerry Mays. Of course, Jackson Belt in the backfield with Sean Landry. He does get his touches as well. And Florida State has some elite wide receivers themselves between Avila, Trayvon Simpson and Trey Harrison. And, of course, Eric Glover Jr. at tight end. So FSU's got a lot of gas on that offensive side of the ball. And I'm sure they're going to want to respond to that amazing run by Bo early. You see the quick pass underneath. And Jerry's got to be happy with that early on to Eric Glover. That's what FSU is going to be looking for all night, man. They know against this Utah defense, they got to try to keep things short. The deep ball's not always going to be there, because this Utah defense does an excellent job, as we've seen all season, shutting down those long balls. And we see the first handoff to the man, Jackson Belt, going crazy. Little 12-yard rush there, finds the open gap. You see that 6 yards after contact. That man's been running like that all year since he started at running backs, since he's become RB1. He's done a great job for this Florida offense, keeping the ball moving consistently and doing what they need to do. Meanwhile, on that Utah defense, of course, the first boy I'm going to spotlight is the Russian spy. Of course, we got Vic at left end. Absolute beast. Be watching for him on every single pass play, trying to bring the pressure under Mays here. As Mays delivers an absolute laser to the 35-yard line. Absolute dot to Simpson there. Exactly what Florida State's going to be looking for in order to respond to that early Utah touchdown. And if you're Utah, you're just going to try to contain that as much as you can. You've done a good job all season at stopping these kind of chump plays, and hopefully you're going to be able to continue to do that tonight, as we see FSU did get one ripped off. But yeah, Utah, they do have some excellent secondary between Davion Fletcher and Zay Harris, so I do expect to see a lot of action between those two guys. Both of them have had fantastic seasons. In fact, the staff, we basically spent 30 minutes arguing over which one of them deserved award noms, as we see an absolute insane catch by Eric Glover Jr., looking like Randy Moss, ripping that out of the sky, surrounded by white Utah jerseys, but that boy did not care, as a laser from Jerry Mays and a fantastic leaping grab from Eric Glover stops me from talking about this Utah defense. But of course, the last man I gotta mention is Mr. Terrence Brown Jr. on the right side. Him and Vic do make an elite pass rushing unit. Those two boys are definitely something that I know Jerry Mays is going to be thinking about all night long when he steps back into that pocket. We see a jump. We have a free play here. Play action. Looking. Going for the end zone. Did he catch that? No. Did he? Oh my. No way. No way did he catch that. Oh my goodness, he did. Jerry Mays is just delivering absolute lasers. This penalty is very obviously going to be declined. My goodness. Jerry Mays is doing the opposite of Utah. Utah came out, gave it to Bo, and said, go win us the game. Jerry Mays is out here saying, I'm going to find the creases in these defenses and deliver these absolute dots over and over and over again and trust my receivers to deliver. And that's exactly what they're doing. What an exciting start to this game, folks, as FSU is going to go for the extra point to tie it up against Utah. And we really couldn't be asking for much else out of this one. The two best teams in the nation, number 1 and number 2, going back and forth on first possessions. We're going to see FSU kick it off here, back to Utah. And, a little decent return there, obviously, but Utah is going to go ahead and get it set up and get moving yet again. Azell does get a pretty decent return there, the second half of that elite running back tandem. But honestly, if I'm Utah, I'm thinking it's going to be more of the same. We know we have an absolute monster running back. We know we're going to be feeding him the ball. And I expect him to see more of that. And if you're FSU, you're just thinking, how can we slow this man down? How can we get a grip on the run game? We're going to see Rado step back to the pass. Delivers a great pass over the middle. And Rado's starting 2 for 2 for 25. No crazy numbers. But that's Light's first catch as well, and I hope to see him get more and more involved, as he is an absolute elite wide receiver here in the PFL. Bo does get the handoff. You already see these crazy stats because of that long run. 4 rushes for 67 yards. Well on his way to a 100-yard game here at the start of this one. Rado's going to take that pass there, has a man underneath, throws a dot and does deliver. That's 3 for 3 for 31 yards. Nice early start for them. It's great to see Light get his second catch as well. They're going to need every single one of their guys to be on absolute perfect mode in order to beat this FSU team. And we do see an overthrow there, which unfortunately is going to set up the punt on 4th and 1. I think this is a position where they could go for it, but they decide, Coach Harris decides to be a little safe with it, and it pays off as they deliver a laser of a punt. Absolute coffin, setting Jerry Mays and company up tight near their own end zone. I do expect this to mean FSU is going to be running the ball to Jackson Belt, saying give us some space before we try to pass. But who did I talk about, folks, when I talk about that Utah defense between Terrence Brown and Vic the Russian Spy? You already know they're going to be thinking sack, safety. Right? They're thinking all about that triple S. And let's see how FSU's offense responds here. We do see the handoff to Jackson Belt. Finds a little bit of space, which I really think is all they're going to be looking for here. Gets a couple of yards, tries to stay ahead of the chains, especially with Utah stacking the box, looking for that pressure and trying to get that safety. If you're Utah, you're really just trying to pin them here, get a 3 and out at least, stop them from keeping the ball moving, and go ahead and get your offense back out on the field. And if you're FSU, all you're thinking is 1 first down at a time. Pressure was coming, still delivers. Outside pass underneath to the running back. Jerry Mays once again delivering. That was to Landry. You know, remember both teams have a running back tandem here between the two. Basically, they have a strong power back and then a very, very good receiving back to bounce that off of, depending on what formation they're in. And as you can tell by the records and their standings, it has worked out very, very well for both teams. Jerry Mays finds a wide open receiver running down the field and absolutely gets ripped down. We already know that's going to be a penalty. That is a personal foul. That is a face mask, and that's going to be an additional 15 yards tacked on to the absolute laser delivered to Ja. Great catch, great play design on the post, getting wide open. And just like that, FSU was basically knocking on the door after the penalty, getting all the way up to the 27-yard line here. We're going to see Jerry take the snap and shotgun. Does go for the inside zone handoff. Has some room to run. That is Sean Landry. Plenty of room there. Gets a 9-yard gain. Putting FSU in the second and do whatever we want type of yardage. Little dump off play to get the first. New set of downs. That's exactly what they're going to be trying to do. That was to Trayvon again. And Jerry Mays, he can't be stopped right now. 7-7 will not be stopped. He's just delivering. He's finding the open man. He's doing what he's been doing all season. And this is what has allowed FSU to have such a good year. You know, their offense has really been clicking lately, and they've just been consistent with how they move the ball. We do see an empty backfield, 5-receiver set. Jerry looking for the end zone, delivers again, and that is another touchdown for FSU. That is to Trayvon yet again, as Simpson gets his touchdown on the, as he gets his touchdown on the board, and FSU is going to take the one-score game here. And pending the extra point, go up by 7. Another absolute laser in a spot where only Simpson could catch it, and a great catch out of him to take the lead here. FSU, you know, absorbed that first punch. We talk about it if you guys watch boxing. It's all about absorbing that first punch and seeing how you can come back and counterattack. And they have done exactly that, delivering an excellent 1-2 punch, getting these 2 scores and going up 14-7. And meanwhile, if you're Utah, you have to be thinking, okay, we've given up some chump plays. We have to get smarter at defending that deep ball. But we can't back up too far because then Jackson Belt and Landry are going to feast underneath. So it's just a matter of adjusting on the defense and understanding the team you're playing against right now is the #1 team in the nation for a reason. So if you're Utah, that's what you have to be thinking about as we see another decent return here. We're going to get our look at this offense once again. And now it's Utah's turn to try to come out here and deliver a response. Being down a score, I think they have to get back to what they're good at. It's got to be block for Bo. It's got to be run to open up the pass here. But we do see Azell out there, not Bo. And we're going to see how this first play. That would, to me, indicate pass. But let's see what happens here. We do see the pass. Rado's got some pressure. Goes deep, has a wide open man, and that is how you respond if you're Utah. You throw an absolute laser down the field and deliver a very quick pass to put yourself in phenomenal field position and in a great chance, as you see Coach Harris is very excited to get some points back on the board. Great catch, great play there. And that was Zeke Moore on the catch there. I know he's kind of skinny for a tight end, but he moves fast. Excellent blocker and is a great weapon for Rado. Has been all season long. See Rado drop back to pass. Thought about running, but then delivers a strike on the curl route. But it is dropped as he gets absolutely clobbered there by FSU, forcing that incompletion. Excellent hit immediately on the grab. We're going to see 3 to the bottom, 2 to the top. Empty backfield here for Rado on this 2nd and 10 play. He's looking, pressure coming, pressure in his face, and he does get sacked. Huge sack by Gaynor there, setting up 3rd and 16. And after that excellent first play, Utah's drive is stalling with the quickness. And this is the absolute last thing that they were hoping for. My goodness. We're going to see Utah try to convert here on this 3rd and a mile. 2.5 minutes to go in the first. They do go for the deep route very quickly on the go, but it is not going to get them to the first down. Well played by the Florida State defense as Ezell does make the catch there. Knowing where the line of scrimmage is, guarding the line of scrimmage, and making sure that they do stop this, forcing a field goal try out of Utah. But I will give Rado credit. You know, he did get him within field goal range, setting up something to at least potentially be kicked. We all know field goals are not a gimme in the PFL, so there is no guarantee if this is going to go in, but let's see how this is handled. Kick is up, and honestly, he booted the hell out of that, so I think he could have had another 30 yards. I don't even know if they needed that extra yardage. Great kick there, and Utah does make it a 4-point game, as we're going to see them kick it off back to Florida State, and honestly, we're going to have to see this Utah defense step up, or this is going to be a very, very long night for the Utes here, as Florida State has been able to basically do everything they want to do on offense. Jerry Mays has been absolutely feasting, and when he needs them, both the running backs have been doing their thing as well. We see a single back formation here. Jerry Mays gets ready to take the snap. It is a handoff on the first play. Wide open gap up the middle, and that is, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 10-yard rush for a first down. Yes, it is. That is Jackson Belt going again. And again, Florida State just doing whatever they want to do on offense. If you're Coach Harris and you're looking at this Utah defense, you have to be thinking, okay, I have to make adjustments throughout this game because this Florida State offense is really just cooking. And whatever plays that Coach Kappa designs, they are executing to perfection right now. We see him send the man in motion for the underneath pass. Yes, there it is. There's a quick screen. Jukes the first man, but unfortunately he jukes right into a defender. Great tackle there, gutting that down. I believe that was Terrence Brown. Yes, it was, in the right position. As a attempted juke out of that on the screen happened, Terrence Brown was ready, got off his block, and came in and made the tackle on Landry. Very nicely done. So we're going to see Mays get ready to take this snap here. A lot of pressure in the box. They do go for the run, and it does get immediately stopped as there were so many Utah bodies in the box. I definitely feel like FSU should have tried to audible out of that as Pruitt makes the tackle. We're going to see Jerry once again. Looking, goes in a great deflection and stop, forcing the punt. Very well done out of that Utah defense. Forcing the punt out of Florida State, and this might be the end of the first quarter. Let's see. Nope, we still have 2 seconds. So there's going to be one more play before the end of the first quarter here in this incredibly exciting conference final matchup. This has been absolutely back and forth by both teams. Rado does go for the dump off, but honestly, Ezell should have just thrown that in the ground. Let me see your twos in the chat, PFL Nation. I know we got a lot of new guys coming in for the new series. So, you know, if you want to join all these new guys, PFL is a simulation football league designed where you can live out your collegiate dreams. It's run by a fantastic commissioner and a staff that really love football and care about the game. If you do want to join up, as we see, never mind, an absolute laser delivered by Rado and a touchdown for Utah. Both of their touchdowns have been on insanely big plays. Oh my goodness, Rado finds the wide open Zeke Moore streaking down the field and delivers a laser to get the lead back. What a way to start the second quarter. And if you want to hear your name called like this, you want to be involved in the league, then make sure you fill out that application in the description. Follow us on social media, subscribe to the YouTube. Zeke will get in touch with you. And we'll see you in the league, and you know, next season I'll be calling your name with all this excitement. I can't wait to do it. So thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you guys are here with us. And man, what a way to start the second quarter as Rado just delivers an absolute bomb down the field. Could not ask for much else there. We're going to see Utah take the 3-point lead and kick it off to Florida State. And we're going to get yet another look at this Florida State offense. We see a pretty good return there in FSU now. Again, we keep saying it's going back and forth. Now FSU has to think of how they're going to respond and get the job done on offense. We see Jerry Mays being an absolute freak so far today, 9 of 10 for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. I expect to see more of the same out of him. Both these quarterbacks have had fantastic seasons and do an excellent job at finding their open target, as we do see the handoff there. Should have kept going to that left side, Jackson. I really felt like you had a ton of open space there. Decides to cut it back up the middle and immediately gets tackled. See this sending the man in motion, and we're going to see another handoff. Goes to the outside, finds the gap that time. There you go. Great read on that run, as Jackson is now up to 6 rushes for 41 yards. That time cutting back was definitely the right decision, and Florida's doing a great job at moving the ball. And, you know, it doesn't really get talked about a lot, but they are controlling the game a bit more. When Utah goes out and delivers these bomb plays, the best way to respond isn't necessarily with your own and turning it into a gunslinger matchup. The best way to respond here is just keep the game under control and calm, doing what you need to do, run the ball, run out that clock, and, you know, let Utah know that, you know, they're not just going to be able to go back and forth in the Hail Mary battle all game long. You're going to force that defense to stay on the field, try to get them tired. You know, the one advantage to the offense moving so quickly is that the defense has to get right back on the field, and that's going to gas people out quickly. So that fatigue and that stamina is going to be playing a factor if Utah keeps delivering like this. We're going to see another handoff here, absolutely crunched at the line, nowhere to go, and forcing a third and clearly passing situation, as that was Terrence Brown on the tackle. Has the man underneath, might have been too high of a throw, tries to spin off to get the first down, but it is just not happening as Utah sets up the 4th and 1, and what will likely be a punt there is Eric Glover on the catch and Davis on the tackle. FSU did not go for it before when they were in a very similar 4th and 1 position. I do not expect them to go for it this time. I think if Jerry delivers that ball just a little bit lower, so the Glover can kind of be more in stride going forward instead of east-west, they might have been able to fight for the first. But yeah, almost the exact same situation they were in the first quarter, and they once again are choosing to punt. Last time they dropped a coffin. Can they do it again? Actually, no, I think it was Utah that dropped a coffin. I apologize. But FSU does still deliver a great punt here, setting up Utah on a very long drive. But given the fact that we've seen them deliver these absolute monster runs and very long passes, I'm sure Utah's thinking they can just do that again. We see Big Bo in the backfield. I do expect to see a handoff here to their superstar running back. There it is. He tries to create some space, but gets absolutely stuffed. Fantastic tackle out of Florida State there to stop Bo from getting anywhere on the ground. Now we see a quick pass wide open over the middle to who else but Zeke Moore, who has been Rado's #1 target tonight. He's gotten light involved a little bit. I don't think we've seen a pass from Sebastian. But it seems like it's mostly just the light, and then of course the Zeke Moore show, as he has just been feasting tonight. As we see a 3rd and 1, huge play here for Florida State's defense. Can they get the stop and get this defense off the field? They go with the handoff, and it does look like they will get the stop, as Azell is not able to cross that first down marker, and that's Elijah Wagner on the tackle. Huge tackle, setting up the 4th and 1, and they will have no choice given the field position but to punt. So this is a massive stop for FSU as we're about halfway through the second quarter. They really couldn't be asking for much else out of this defense after a stop like that. Given the fact that Utah came out and delivered some bombs, getting a stop like this is huge for their own morale. Getting the ball back to the offense, and hopefully the offense can deliver once they get this ball back. We see the kickoff here, gets it to midfield. Excellent field position for FSU. All they got to do is go down about 50 yards, and they will be in the end zone. About 25 yards, and they will be in pretty easy field goal range to tie this game up. So if you're Utah, you're thinking, listen, it's sacks, it's turnovers. Those are going to be the biggest things that we have to try to accomplish here. to slow down this FSU offense. As we do see a flag, maybe that was a PI. Almost gets free on the shoestring tackle. It was PI. So that is, you know, not the best. It's going to be declined because it doesn't really matter given how well of a play that was. Almost a touchdown again on the shoestring tackle. Exactly what FSU's offense is trying to do here. So we do see the quick handoff. Still fights his way for about 6. Landry fighting his way through that line. We did see a jump, but he did not hike it in time. We see the bootleg pressure coming and gets thrown down. There it is. Calvert with an absolute monster sack, bringing him way back, setting up 3rd and 12 behind the chains. What a fantastic play to make this 3rd down a lot tougher for Florida State. And honestly, I think they should have just stuck to the run. If they don't do that bootleg there, they have the run on the right-hand side. Definitely have at least 2 yards to get yourself a new set of downs. What a monster of a sack. Absolute body bag delivered by Calvert. Now we see the 3rd and 12 pressure in his face again. It does just take the dump off. Great job by Utah guarding the line of scrimmage. You know, as a defensive unit, when you're on plays like that, you don't mind giving up the 8-9 yards here to Glover because you know you're protecting the score. And that is the most important piece. We're going to see FSU have to settle for 3. Hopefully make it and tie this game up. See him get ready for the field goal here. Again, remember in the PFL, nothing is free, but this should be a chip shot, and it is as he ties it up 17-17. That was Timothy Queen, of course, out there delivering on this field goal, tying the game up for Florida State. And just like that, folks, I mean, this is exactly what you want to see when you're a commentator. We have a tied game, 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the half. Ecstatic noise from the stadium. Everybody is so excited for this championship game. It is absolutely fantastic to see. We see Rado coming out again. Hasn't had a ton of passes tonight, but when he has passed, he has delivered where he needs to. And Utah's going to come out here and try to be the last people with the ball here in this first half. Rado send the man in motion, fake the jet sweep, fake the handoff. This is definitely a deep pass setup. Looking. Ends up going to the guy that came back on the route. That is Light Yagami yet again. Coming back on his route, helping out his quarterback and getting to the ball as Rado finds him. And that was Jones on the tackle as well for Florida State. Rado sending a man in motion again. Do we see another fake jet sweep? Yes, we do. Another fake handoff. They are loving this right now. Goes to the man wide open. Nobody around, but the safety does get there after the catch. Great play there. I do believe once again that is Zeke Moore on the grab. And that was Davon Wendy's on the tackle as well. It's unlike Wendy's to bite on those deep hooks like that, but that worked out great for Utah. That's what happens when there's no pressure coming. Davon has no choice but to go help the safety over top, cover 85, and just like that, Zeke Moore is wide open on that deep curl route. You see Rado get ready here. He has his man over the middle. Once again, that is a catch and another first down here for Utah. Keeping the ball moving, and that is our first look at Jaw. Mr. Alexander Walker getting his first catch of the night. He has been lethal for Utah, so it is good to see him involved. You know, again, when we talk about these weapons on this Utah offense, they really are everywhere. And this, you know, this is a drive where Bo hasn't even been involved. We see his first handoff on a free play, so it doesn't actually matter as Utah's going to get 5 yards. It's going to be 1st and 5 here. A lot of penalty jitters out of both of these teams. You know, these are two teams that played in the national championship here in CS1. You would think they would be ready for games with big spotlight, and yet we're seeing a good amount of penalties. Pass interference, face mask, offsides. It's been definitely a lot of yellow flags tossed around on the field. We're going to see Ronald drop back the pass. Had him in a very tight window, but just straight lasers that into the ground. Leads on his man too much, unable to complete that pass. We do see the handoff to ball on 2nd and 5, but gets absolutely nowhere. Outside of that massive rush in the first quarter, as we see Bird on the tackle, Bo has not been his usual self, as he has been stopped multiple times here on just these runs are just not here. FSU has made great adjustments for the run stop. I'm sure they game plan for Bo. You basically have no choice but to game plan for Bo when you're going into these things. And now we're going to see Rado with an empty backfield. Maybe look for a back shoulder fade on that right side, but he is actually just going to go underneath, and it is dropped. Too many defenders as he tries to fit it into Zeke Moore, but Zeke gets immediately hit on the catch, and that ball is dropped, setting Utah up for the field goal and the chance to take the lead. But FSU looks like they will be the ones to get the last laugh here in the first half. You see what I did there? And get a chance to score before halftime. And keep in mind, Utah did get the ball first, so if FSU can respond to this, get points on the board, and then get the ball at half, they have to be feeling good about that situation. As we do see the kick go up and good for Utah, taking a 20-17 lead, a very high-scoring first half, which I love to see. And I'm sure, you know, you guys, the viewers, love to see it as well. As we wind down this first half, let me see some comments about what you guys feel about this. Do we think this is FSU's game to win? Do we think Utah just needs to hold out? How are we feeling? What do we think we're going to see here in this second half? As we see FSU get ready here to have their final drive of the first. I do hope that they put some points on the board, as obviously that'll make it more exciting for them getting the ball after halftime. We do see a quick run early on, and we get just under 2 minutes to play. We do see single back in the backfield. It does look like they might just be running a couple times. Let's see what Coach Kappa has cooked up here, as they are winding that clock down. Maybe they don't want to try to go put points on the board. This is a very conservative play call here, as we do see Mays drop back to pass, pressure in his face, sack coming, and sack delivered. And we see a timeout out of Utah, thinking that they are going to get the ball back and try to put some points on the board. Absolutely massive sack out of Bryson Jones there for Utah. Just goes for the dump off, nowhere to go with it though, deflected, and that is an incompletion with 1 minute and 33 seconds left. FSU has to punt away, and Utah has a chance to maybe get down, get 3 points, you know, maybe even score a touchdown and make this a much more expanded lead, as we're going to see them return it to the 40-yard line. Rado getting some advice from Coach Harris, getting ready to get out there, as Colorado Rivers is going to be highlighted, and his connection with Zeke Moore has just been outstanding all night long. My goodness, Rado and Zeke, man, they have been hitting tonight. And I know for a fact that they got to be feeling good about that. I know that's a connection that they've been trying to just basically unleash all season long. You know, Utah has these elite weapons all throughout their offensive core. And the wide receivers, of course, and of course Zeke as well, have been just waiting to get these targets. As we're going to see Rado with the Zell out there, that almost guarantees is going to be a passing down. Yes, it is. Rado's looking, pressure in his face, finally goes for the dump off, takes the easy 8 or 9 yards, has to go into the hurry up though, because they did not get the first. Second one here with 50 seconds on the clock. Goes to the dump off to Bo. Bo gets the catch, and once that man's in open field, that is extremely dangerous. 44 seconds on the clock. The clock is stopped due to getting the first down. And Utah is marching along, trying to get themselves in a position to put some more points on the board before halftime. As we do see a quick highlight, Bo got the quick throw. And once he's in the open field, you know, that man is one of the best in the league, if not the best freshman in the league at running in the open field. You see Rado drop back to pass, great protection by the line, finds his man on the outside, and that will stop the clock yet again as he falls out of bounds. That is Light Yagami with his 4th catch, getting a good amount of targets here in the first half. Him and Zeke are really lighting up the stat sheet as far as the receiving core is concerned, and that is, you know, a little toe drag swag for Light Yagami, getting it done before he falls out of bounds. 33 seconds, ball on the 28. Rado drops back to pass, looks like he might try to run, but ends up finding the wide open man, getting it to the 10-yard line, takes the timeout, delivering once again. And Rado says, I don't want the 3, I want the touchdown. Let's see what they draw up here. Coach Harris saying, I want the touchdown as well. Goes for the fade in the end zone. That is a catch and a touchdown. I believe that is Jaw once again. Yes, it is Alexander Walker with a huge grab in the end zone. First touchdown of the night. And Utah looks to take a 10-point lead going into half. What a fade route. What a find by Rado. Clearly designed to get to that man, big target in the back of the end zone. And he absolutely delivers. As we see the first half winding down into the final 24 seconds. I don't know if SSU is going to try to put points on the board or if they're simply going to hand it off to Jackson and say, hey, let's get into halftime, let's hold our heads up, and let's try to come out in the second half and hit them with a punch and try to deliver a score. But what a turn of momentum. You know, FSU had a chance to get some points on the board, get the ball back at half, and feel really good about where they were at. Turns into a quick 3 and out. Utah gets a sack and some excellent pass defense. And now Utah is on the front foot. Great response by the offense there to get the 10-point lead, and they have all the momentum as we are winding down this first half. Just with 20 seconds to go, I would not be surprised here if we don't see anything crazy. This could be an inside zone handoff, or maybe we will see a crazy pass. Let's see. He does fake it, pressures right in his face again. Excellent block to give him the time. Finds a man, but does not make the catch. Absolutely brutal for FSU considering all the setup there. And he's just going to take the dump off, and that is like, oh, nope, they're calling a timeout. I'm sorry, I spoke too soon. I figured that might end the half, given the circumstance there. Let's see, we got 8 seconds left, third down. He's going for the deep ball. There's so many DBs around. Oh my goodness, it was in his hands again. And just unable, that is Jaw, as it got tipped around. It fell into his hands, but just unable to hold on to the ball. We're going to see the fourth down deep ball yet again. And it looks like that did get intercepted to end the half. So what a way to finish up, as Jerry Mays is going to roast his own stat line, and Utah is going to grab the pick, hang on to that momentum. That was Zay Harris with the INT there to end the first half. Let me see those threes in chat. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this first half here. Honestly, I think Utah has put their foot on the gas, and I find it very unlikely that they're going to stop, that they're going to go ahead and back off. I feel like they're going to try to put the foot on the throat of FSU. And if you're FSU, all you have to be thinking about is, listen, we have to come out in this second half and deliver a score to make it an interesting game. We've seen plenty of comebacks throughout the PFL. We know that any team at any time can go on the comeback train and get the victory. But if you're FSU, you also know you've been in these types of positions where if you want to get the comeback going, you have to start in order to finalize that comeback and get enough points on the board to take the lead. So those have to be their big concerns going into this second half. As we see some highlights here of the first half, of course, that insane run. Along with some other highlights here, Utah absolutely put on a show on offense as they have a very significant 10-point lead. 2 possession leads can never be understated, but they are kicking off to FSU, who can very quickly turn it into a 1-possession game. Let's see what happens with Jerry Mays and company as we see an absolute bomb into the end zone, taking a knee and getting ready to get this offense out onto the field. There's some more stats for Jerry Mays. Honestly, you can ignore that interception. That wasn't real. You know, that was a last end of half heave. Overall, Jerry's had a great game so far. We do see the quick handoff. And a quick 6-yard gain there for Florida State. They're really going to want to lean more into that run game now that they obviously have time again. Control the clock and just try to really get some points on the board in this drive. Pressure in his face. Can't get rid of the ball in time, and he is sacked again. That's Davis this time coming in and ripping Mays to the ground. Absolute body bag out of Utah once more. That defensive pressure has just been too much for Florida State so far in this game. They have been able to get to the quarterback 3 times now. And that has to start messing with his psyche as that sets up 3rd and 14. Let's see which Coach Kappa draws up on this 3rd and very long. Goes for the deep ball, overthrows his man. Looks like he did have Trey Harrison wide open up the middle, but looks like he went outside instead and overthrows his target, setting up the punt. And I'll tell you what, a 3 and out is the exact opposite of what Florida State was looking for, as Utah can come out here, put some points on the board, and potentially put an absolute stamp on this game. 7 points here is going to make it a 17-point lead, and that might just put things out of reach for FSU. Let's see what happens on this very important drive out of Utah. Tirado goes ahead and takes the quick dump-off pass there. Well, I'm not a huge fan of that. 2 yards is better than no yards, and pressure was coming. We're going to see the play action of Bo. He rolls out looking. Has his man open again over the middle, as they are just been feasting on these deep over the middle balls for Utah all night. And we finally see some more involvement out of all these receivers they've got, man. They have so many people, so many targets. And that's, man, I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Queeth? That sounds so strange to say. But man, that's when we're talking about so many weapons on offense. There's your point. There's your proof, guys. I mean, I call these games all the time, and sometimes I still see players I don't recognize. Great pass out of Rado, setting up Utah with elite field position. We see the quick handoff to Wazell. Tries to get there, but not quite able to do so, getting the ball to the 5-yard line. As we see Gant on the tackle. And you look at that stat, FSU has allowed 277 passing yards. Absolutely insane out of them. That is the opposite of what they were looking for. Utah really taking advantage of the run game planning by FSU and airing the ball out excellently. We see Rado looking, goes for the run. Nowhere to go with that, though, and does get sacked by Bird. Brought down as Florida State's defense decides to bring a little bit of their own pressure and let Utah know that it's not going to be that easy to get in the end zone. Red zone is always the hardest place to score, and FSU is backing that up right here with that excellent pursuit of the quarterback and sack. We're going to see Rado get ready. Take the snap here. Is going to be another pass. Pressure coming, gets hit as he throws, and that is just out the back of the end zone, setting up the field goal. Utah, no choice but to settle for 3. Keeping it a 2-possession game. Great stop by Florida State there, forcing Utah to kick the field goal. Bend, don't break on defense is really going to win you games over time. And that might matter, folks. Keep that score line in mind. If we see FSU come out and score a touchdown just like that, it'll be a 6-point game. We see another boot into the end zone, and yeah, I would take a knee as well. I don't really see a sense of running that out. As we're going to get a look at this FSU offense yet again. And I will repeat what I say, this drive is just as important as the last one. They really do need to get some points on the board. Their offense has started to stall a bit. And I know Coach Kappa's not going to be happy about that. You see Jerry take the snap, does go for the run, tries to find a gap on the left, but just too many white jerseys filling that gap up. Nowhere for him to really run on that, as it does set up a 2nd and 8. We see another handoff, and again, not a lot of running room for Jackson Belt, as we are basically in the exact same spot that we're just in on the 3rd and 8, and you are in a clear passing situation. Jerry's looking, overthrows it, almost in. Okay, I am back. I apologize for that. That might happen again unexpectedly. We are having some power issues here in Nebraska, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it doesn't, though. I am back in here. I apologize for what I missed. Looks like I didn't miss too much, besides the fact that FSU did not score, and Utah once again has a chance to put additional points on the board. Rado delivers an absolute laser to the cutback man on the route there. Rado continuing. That is Zeke Moore, who's already at 6 catches for 183 yards. Absolutely going crazy, as Zeke is having the game of his life here in the conference championship, and Utah really looking to put a stamp on this one. You know, I will say, obviously, we never want to have these types of issues, technical problems in the booth, but at least it's a game where Utah seems to have the game very much in hand. So when I do come back, it isn't the worst thing in the world. As we see them go for the run here, 2nd and short is set up. Staying positive on the chains is exactly what they're looking to do as they continue to build this lead. We see Light fighting for those yards, getting the first down, and getting Utah set up to try and deliver another touchdown here. We see the bootleg. Rado with tons of time decides to run for it. So many yards, tries to fight for the touchdown, gets his arm across the line. Are you kidding me, Rado? Where did this come from? This man got in the lab and said, I am gonna get a touchdown on the ground tonight. No one saw that coming, not myself, probably not the Utah coaching staff, and certainly not the FSU defense, as Rado fights his way, getting tackled at about the 2, fights his way into the end zone, crossing over the line, and getting that touchdown. Absolutely massive. I want to see him set up for 2 here. Ends up going for a dump off, but that goes absolutely nowhere. I get they were trying to make it a 21-point game, but it is still a 19-point lead for Utah, delivering an absolute killer drive here. And if you're FSU, you have to be feeling pretty bad about the way things have gone so far. But obviously, it's the PFL, folks. We know these games are never over. FSU is a fantastic offensive unit. While their offense has been stalling as of late, they are certainly not out of it. And I would never, ever count them out, especially not in a situation where you know Coach Cap was on the sidelines yelling at his guys, trying to keep them as motivated as possible. As we see the quick handoff here, fighting his way for what looks to be about 7 yards. Yes, it is. As we have 2nd and 3. This is exactly what FSU is going to need. Good run game on the ground, controlling the clock. We see a wide open gap there. Finally getting the run game started again. Jackson Bell with 11 carries up to 59 rushing yards. This is what FSU has been looking for all night. They had it going in the first quarter, and it looks like Utah has been making some adjustments defensively. I haven't seen those chump plays that Utah gave up early on in the game. And while the run is starting to wake up again, it hasn't been anything outstanding for Florida State. I want to see Jared Mays get ready there, deliver a dot over the middle. Was that caught? Yes, it was, as that is Javilla yet again delivering a laser over the middle. Jerry Mays saying, listen, I'm going to try to get the team back into this game. One way or the other, I'm going to will it. And FSU is across and into Utah territory. Going to try to deliver here and get some points back on the board and make a game out of this. See Jerry get ready, tries to get a man to jump, fails to do so. Flips up the quick pass, has a man underneath. Quick, good reaction out of the Utah defense to get the tackle. But they do keep the ball moving. That was Harrison on the grab. And of course, Zay Harris yet again with another tackle tonight. We do see the run. Fighting for that first down, stretches his arm out. Jackson Bell doesn't quite get there. We basically see 3rd and a centimeter. Trying to fight his way for the first, setting up an Quick pass, absolute great route decisions there as he just has all his guys run up and then cut inside, creating almost guaranteed separation with that many receivers out on the field. Absolutely fantastic play design out of Kappa. Trying to get a comeback going, trying to build this up. And we're going to see if Florida State can deliver, finish this drive off, and get 7 points on the board to make this fourth quarter a lot more interesting as we get towards the end of the third. Oh my goodness. And just like that, Sanders delivers an absolute monster sack. Body bagging the boy. Jerry Mays has been getting clobbered all night. Excuse me, all night long. Jerry Mays has been getting absolutely smacked down. And we are seeing it yet again as this Utah defense came out here to make a statement saying, you know, we deserve that #1 seed. We know the nation said, Florida State, you're the best team in the country. We're here to prove the nation wrong. And so far, their defense is doing it. You see a good, quick underneath pass to get a little bit of confidence back. As you get another look at Jerry May's stats here. Winding down this third quarter, that was Simpson with the reception, and Pruitt with his second tackle of the night. Another quick pass underneath, makes the catch. Good reaction to the ball, but that will be a fourth down. And given the fact that it's a 19-point game, I don't know if a field goal really matters. The difference between 19 and 16, while it does make it a 2-possession game, it is a long 2 possessions. So I would not be incredibly shocked to see them go for it here. But, you know, if they did decide to settle for the field goal, I was going to say I wouldn't be incredibly shocked if they went that route either, because it will make it a 2-possession game. And just like that, ending the third quarter, it is a 2-possession game, 36-20. Let me see those 4s in chat for this conference championship. I'm sure most of you are thinking Utah's going to hold on to it and get the win. So I want to see any FSU people out there in the chat who think FSU is going to come back and get it done. Please let your voice be heard. Let everybody know that you believe in the comeback, as we're going to see them kick off to Utah to start this fourth quarter. Man, oh man, I do love me some Friday Night Lights PFL action. It's really the best place to be, man. I'm so excited to be doing this. I love being a part of this league. Thank you guys for all tuning in and supporting. And to all the new guys, I cannot wait to start calling your names next season. As we see a handoff to Bo, so much room to run, and you cannot do that. As Bo Sanders, absolute superstar, delivering when his team needs him the most, getting a huge run to start the fourth quarter here for Utah. And I really feel like they're going to be all about clock management this quarter. Just doing their best job.
My guy John Smith having booth troubles due to a thunderstorm, so I'm gonna jump in here. Zeke in the booths. Jerry Mays, shotgun action, big time gain here from Jackson Belt. Getting a 1st and 10, keeping this drive alive. Just under 9 minutes left in this ball game in this Icons Bowl conference championship game between Florida State and FSU, the defending champs FSU, I might add. This is a rematch from the national championship game last season. Utah already beat these guys earlier in the season.
I should be back. I apologize again, guys.
I think we got John back, so we'll go ahead and close this one out together then. We still got you here, John? All right, so he's still probably having a bit of problems there, but we got Jerry dropping back. Nice pass to Jackson Belt, and this is the only hope they have left.
I should be back. I'm sorry about this, guys. I've just been having a lot of
I'm
power issues, real-life stuff going on. I apologize for that. I do see that FSU has gotten the ball back, which is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and see if they can come back out of this. We do see the 4th and 4. I do anticipate, given the time left on the clock, that they are going to be going for it here. I couldn't imagine any other situation with only 70 seconds to go.
Yeah, man, I had to try to jump in there with you.
I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah, it's all good. And then I jumped on and didn't even. Well, I think I was going. I just think you couldn't hear me. I was still muted in the chat. So you were talking over me.
My bad.
Nah, you good. We'll close this one out together.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Zeke. Thank you for jumping in. I really did not expect the power outage and stuff to happen. So.
All good, man. The Utah's playing lights out right now, man.
Absolutely.
Just a shutdown right there, though. They should have had something there on that drive. I feel like that was the drive they needed to score on if they wanted any shot at this ball game. But the way Colorado Rivers is playing, I mean, I feel like they're just going to run the rest of this clock out with Bo. He went from 8 rushes to 12 in just one possession. So hefty work for just 12 carries. I'm talking about we're going to see a lot of Bo in this 4th quarter. 100 yards already, 12 rushes only for 100 yards. So you know Rado's been airing that thing out. But Bo Sanders, little carries, big production. A lot of offensive production in this game for Utah, man.
Yeah, man, it's been great to watch, honestly. It really has just been Bo on these quick plays. He's been able to find the gaps and get the yards they need play after play, and Utah really is coming out here and making a statement against the #1 team in the nation.
Yeah, I think it's just a thing where, oh my gosh.
Oh, no!
Would you knock it off already?
He cannot be stopped, man. He has just been feasting tonight. My goodness, that is the #1 freshman, man. That is the #1 freshman right there.
Pavement. #1 freshman in the country. I'm sure he'll walk away with that Falk Award, that Marshall Falk Freshman of the Year Award. As he's just going ahead, he's just putting the icing on the cake here. They're not even going to throw it anymore. They're just going to run it with Bo. Oh, it's a nice hit, but goodness gracious, 140, dude. 140. I just looked up and he had 70 yards just 3 minutes ago.
Utah said in this 4th quarter, man, they said, listen, we're going to control the clock. We're not going to give FSU a chance to come back in this game. And the best way to do that is to give it to your superstar running back and just let him work.
Man, look at this guy. In a carry.
Just unstoppable right now, man. They are just not able to slow him down.
Yo, John, man, this kid Bo is making a statement right now. He's feeling away. And, I mean, again, we love our players putting in the work in the offseason. Well, not the offseason, but the postseason here. I mean, you got to understand there's a regular season and a postseason. So you guys don't get conference championship games misconstrued with regular season.
Yeah, this is the first postseason game we're seeing of Bo, and he is absolutely proven himself.
Bonkers.
Absolutely.
So we need our guys to show up in the playoffs so we can start naming our playoff players. We got regular season performers, and then we have those guys that turn it up a notch in the playoffs. And this is what we're seeing. Zeke Moore having himself a day. Almost 200 yards in the air. Colorado going to go, probably looks like 400 yards here if he doesn't. He probably won't get too many more passes. But actually, he's emptying it out here, so they're getting a little greedy here. Let's see if that backfires a bit. And
Ooh, close as he sets up a hospital pass.
That kid Maddox coming across the middle.
We're gonna see Bo get the head off, but
getting in there, number 6, taking out Bo. I was just about to say, why not Bo? But they're on that.
They are, man. They said we're tired of the way he's running all over us this game. It's time to shut that down, and they do a big hit in the backfield. Honestly, if I'm Utah, though, I got to say, go back to Bo. See if you can get him in the end zone, because all you're really trying to do at this stage is keep that clock down anyway.
Yeah, I'm going back with Bo if it's me, like you said. But it looks like they have tricks.
Empty back.
And they got, look at this lineup here. 4 users and 1 prime player. It can't get any better than that for a quarterback. Here's Rado moving. Oh, yeah, he's just going to take it home.
Oh, he's going to take off. Yep.
Hey, I said that's the best thing to do. that's 2 rushing touchdowns for this kid. And a sophomore, I mean, hey, man, he got in his lab, he got in the lab, got in his bag. Yep. He upped some things that really needed to be upped, and he figured out a couple of things to get him moving a bit out of that pocket, and it's showing off, man. 2 rushing touchdowns. The other one was incredible. That one was just a good old QB scramble off to the side for the goal line touchdown. But, you know, man, Colorado Rivers, man, have a day. Have a day, sir. Have a day, Utah. 43-20. Coach Kai Harris coming out here, stomping on Coach Kappa. He's making it a look at Coach Kappa's got to talk to his guys. Coach Kai's got his number, man. What's going on? Number 1 team in the nation. Man. It looks like Utah's got these boys numbered. That'd be 2-0 this season. After FSU handed them that national championship loss last season, Utah has beat them twice this season.
Utah has been on their revenge plot this season, man, both in the regular season and the postseason. Absolutely crushing it. This has been a statement game.
Not a bad game. 13 for 18 start, 8 for 13 finish. I think he's looked great out here. I don't think I've seen any turnovers. I might have missed 1 or 2 looking away, but it looks like he's been hitting his guys. Okay, so 1 interception, but 251 yards. Not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty efficient.
Nah, he's been playing well. Jerry's looked good, honestly, all game. It's just Utah's done a great job at giving up the little things, but nothing crazy. You know, they give up the 4 or 5 yards, but just have been shutting down FSU's deep play.
Jerry Mays, man. Looks like Colorado step. Oh, what a pass. Yo, this kid's good.
He is. He is. Jerry's been great.
Deep in the pocket right there with plenty of pressure. I feel like him and Rado, you know, if they can keep this up, sophomore quarterbacks, definitely some good traction moving forward. Rado just had a couple of down weeks there in the regular season. But with the new upgrades, I don't really see this guy having any more down games. He shouldn't, at least. He should be looking up from this point on. With the things that he upgraded, I just was looking at it, man, and I was just like, dude, there's no way this guy doesn't come out and perform great.
Yeah, he's gone crazy. And, you know, I brought it up on the first one, but this new rushing Rado, that's a new threat, man. Defense has got to start game planning for that now. It's going to be a problem as we see Jerry deliver a ball over top. But Rado, man, he starts running around.
Been seeing Zeke doing some things this game, so Eric Glover trying to put his, you know, push his game up this game to give himself some comfortability there. You know, he in the running for that Shannon Sharp Award. He won it last year, so just trying to make you guys remember he's still out here almost 100 yards for E-Glove as well tonight.
Absolutely. He's been a favorite target for Mays all night, and he has been consistent with these catches. Ooh, that was super close. Almost intercepted. Yes, sir. That's not what Jerry's trying to end on.
Here before the game. Here's Jerry. No, sir.
Has to throw that away. Pressure in his face, too. Utah's defense has been smothering on him all night long.
Here he is again. Yes, sir. Got Eric Glover. Is going to break a tackle. A couple more. He's going to reach for it. What a big
close.
Play.
Huge.
Way to answer the call. Way to go toe-to-toe with this guy, Zeke Moore, man. 10 receptions on the night. 100 yards receiving. Whew, that touchdown would have been big just for himself.
Absolutely.
But what a catch and what a play. What a play from Eric Glover. Just really nice gain there. And I I thought they would have went to Jackson. Look at Jackson
Same.
wide open, dude. Oh, how'd he squeezed it? Oh my gosh.
Small window.
Gets it done. I too thought they would just dump off to Jackson.
It looked
Crazy.
like he got picked. There was a lot of white jerseys in the uniform. I mean, in the
Absolutely.
area. A lot of white uniforms in the area. They're not even giving us replays anymore. They're trying to get us out of here, John.
For real, they said we're done with this game.
Daughter Trey Harrison for the 2. And like again, man, Jerry Mays, not a bad night. Just Colorado and these Utes just a little dangerous out here tonight. Just overpowered, high power. You see coach in a new gear tonight. Oh yeah, they're feeling good.
They were not playing, man. Utah came out here and said we are gonna win this game, and they delivered at every single stage.
Yes, sir.
Offense, defense, and special teams.
Little onside kick action. We're gonna be recovered by the Utes here, and that's gonna do it pretty much, guys. I'm sure they're gonna line up in victory formation here. No need to do anything else at this point. Just go ahead and kneel it out and take your bowl game.
Absolutely.
Icon Bowl champions are gonna go to the Utah Utes. Closing out, knocking off the #1 team here, and with the loss yesterday, Bama beating Oregon, the loss for Oregon, what do you think, John? That's gonna put Utah at 1.
Yep.
And that's gonna move Bama to 2, or is that gonna drop FSU to 2?
I think it's still FSU 2, Bama 3.
Bama goes
personally.
to 3, and then Oregon with the loss. Do they just stay at 5 and then we just keep it there, keep it locked?
Yeah, I think so. I think the big swap is just Utah with this victory is going to take over Florida State.
Who's at that 4?
Texas.
So they're locked there. Yeah, because the fact that Oregon lost. Only
Exactly.
if Oregon won, they might have been able to eclipse Texas with the bowl win.
Exactly.
But due to the fact that Oregon did not win, yeah, that'd be the top 4 right there. It'll be so now Utah's going to go ahead and secure the #1 seed in the national playoffs, the college football championships rounds, and Florida State will take the 2 seed. Bama will take the 3 seed, and Texas will take the 4 seed, fellas. So that's how we're shaping out here as we round out this bowl series here in the conference championship. Both quarterbacks going toe-to-toe, both over 100 QBR. But Colorado just going bonkers, 23 for 28, ludicrous, 374, both quarterbacks. One of the better quarterback duels, like
Agreed.
Battles here, for sure. But Rado has those guys that got the capability of going deep, like Zeke and Jaws, even light. So just a nice game here, man. Let's go ahead and dive into Florida State, losing team here. Jerry Mays, great game. Again, 1 interception, but just put together a nice game. Belt got shut down 2 weeks in a row, where the freshman has kind of been contained here, but not many touches neither. Eric Glover, 2 weeks in a row where he's 100 plus, I believe. So 10 catches for 115, really on his receiver job. 4 for 46 for Simpson and a tutty. Landry 4 for 13, Avila 4 for 91. So tough receiving work here, and 3 touchdowns for all these guys. Almost a tutty for Glover right there. Came up short at the end. Maddox with 11 tackles. Wendy's with 3. Wagner with 3 and a tackle for a loss. Hayden getting in on action. And then we also have, let's see the dirty work here. Who put in some dirty work? Put the bodies on the line. Nobody in particular. Shout out to the one fella that did do some work there, which was what was it, Grant? But he's
that was Grant.
He's he's not our guy here. So no shade, but we're not looking for him right now. Colorado, amazing. 142, 23 for 28, 374, 82%, 2 touchdowns, 80 long, 13.3 average. If this is going to be the Rado that we're going to get moving forward with the upgrades, I just want to say, look out, nation. Because this kid's serious.
Utah's coming.
And then you combine that with Bo's 18 for 157 is ludicrous. Like, first of all, 18 attempts, under 20 attempts with 157 and a touchdown. It's just crazy. 8.7 a carry. So, and he was slithering through the defense, because if you look, just 1 broken tackle. So How do you get 157 yards on one broken tackle and just 18 attempts? That means you were just eating
Monster.
field, bro.
Eating.
Eating field, bro. Like, no question. Rado with his 20 yards, had 5 attempts and 2 touchdowns. Just throw that in there. So what was that? That's 4 total touchdowns? 4 all-purpose touchdowns for the Rado Rodeo. Mercer
He's
out
going
there
crazy,
too.
man.
Zeke Moore,
Yep.
7 touches for 191 yards and a touchdown. So him and Eric Glover going crazy. 7 out of 7 versus 10 receptions, 191 yards versus, I believe it was 115 yards. So both of these guys getting in on the action. Zeke having the best game of his career. And we have to check and see if that's a tight end receiving record. 191 yards. We have to double check that. Light Yagami, 47. Mercer with 19. Jaws with 25 and a tutty. Jakes Como with 1 for 17. Had a big time 17-yarder. And then Bo had a 15-yarder as well. Going on defensive end, a lot of dogs over here. Zay Harris, 6 tackles, and he did get that interception. So there's an interception. We were talking about if Zay was clamping down, getting those picks, and there he is in the running for those for the awards as well. I believe he's up for the Deion Sanders Cornerback of the Year award. And then you throw in D. Fletch with 6 tackles, Bryson with 2, 1 and a sack, Malik Pruitt with 3, T. Brown with 2. Let's see the dirty work over here. We know Zay has to have some dirty work after getting a pick, but Fletcher puts 1 pass deflection, and there it is. Zay Harris, 4 pass deflections in the pick. So he was shutting everything down that came his way. He was trying him. He's making you pay. Did he take that one to the crib? No, it wasn't a cribber. Wasn't a cribber. Wasn't a pick sixer. But it was a pick. And it was lockdown defense. And at the end of the day, again, guys, you got Zeke, you got John, Kamish, Co-Kamish. We just kind of want to recap a little bit. I wasn't able to get on the podcast, so if you guys want to hang around for a bit, just for a second, me and John talk about the league for a little bit, if you will, John, for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, 43-28 madness here, Utah. So it looks like we're going to get Utah being the Icon Bowl champions and Alabama being the Legend Bowl champions. Again, we can just go ahead and do a live bracket here, John.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Let's see here.
Let me go pull up.
We're looking at, so with the changes, well, with the victories here from the 2 champions, we're going to be looking at Ole Miss taking, not Ole Miss, I'm sorry about that. Utah taking number 1. So it's going to be Utah they're going to pull, or they draw Ole Miss first round. So that's going to be very interesting especially for guys like Coach Kai, being as though he has Gucci Armani over there, safety at Ole Miss. So that's going to be a very interesting game for my boy, Coach Kai Harris. But of course, he's rocking for his Utes. So Utah versus Ole Miss. What do you think about that matchup there, John?
Man, I think it'll be good because even though Ole Miss managed to slide in at the 8th seed, I do feel like they have one of the top defenses in the PFL, and I feel like they're going to be able to, kind of contain this new Rado we're seeing a bit more. So I think out of all the what I would consider blow-up matches, those early seed matches, I think that 1v8 is actually going to be super exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think the Ole Miss is one of those, like, number 8 teams, those 8 seeds you just really don't want to see. It's like, wait, how'd they get down here?
Exactly.
But moving on, we're going to see. So at this point, we're going to get the 3 seed. We said Bama is going to stick with 3.
Yep.
And so that's going to stay on my chart here. So Bama versus Miami. It's going to be a nice game, too. You got the Crimson Tide versus the Hurricanes. You got Peace Wavy versus Carson Young. Carson Young coming off a spectacular performance in a head-to-head against AB and Oregon. So it's going to be great to see Bama go up against Miami. Miami coming with some strong defense. Another team you don't want to sleep on. If that offense is clicking, they could have a shot. How do you feel about that Bama-Miami 3-6 matchup, John?
Yeah, man, I agree exactly, especially with that last point you bring up. What we've seen out of Miami is that their defense will keep them in the games, right? We've seen that for weeks now. Their defense will keep them in the game. So if PS3 and that offense is clicking, then Bama's not going to have the easiest time in the world. But I know Carson Young is feeling himself right now. You know, we've been talking to him. I know he's feeling that juice. So I
Yeah,
feel like he's going to
he's
try to come out and
definitely
put a
feeling that
show on.
juice or off the juice, one of the
Uh
two. Not playing. Let me stop. Shout out to Carson. But yeah. So I definitely say that handles our top half of the bracket, and so the Utah Ole Miss game, fellas. The Utah Ole Miss game. Bear with me here, fellas. The Utah Ole Miss game is going to be our Fiesta Bowl matchup. So that's going to be our Fiesta Bowl matchup. Then our Bama versus Miami is going to be our Peach Bowl. So you guys make sure you tune into the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl this year, season 2. Moving down to our Rose Bowl matchup here in CS2 national playoff settings is going to be Florida State, number 2 Florida State versus number 7 Georgia Bulldogs. So the Georgia Bulldogs and the Florida State Seminoles going to be going at it in the Rose Bowl this year. And I got to say, just from seeing FSU in this game, they still put up 28 points on the board. They gave up 43 points to probably, like I said, the best offensive team in the league. I've been saying that for quite some time. And now Rado's kicked it into gear, and he's got this team moving. And along with Bo, all they needed was Rado to just match Bo's energy through a whole game, and you get 43 points against the number 1 team in the league. So I do think Florida State has the edge here with the defense that they would normally play on other teams, and the 28 points you hear Jerry Mays hitting his targets. And Georgia has had some struggles, but they do have a solid defense. And if they can match that defense and they can put it on the offense of Florida State, and they can get KJ going, and if they can really get Ryan Brooks going, it could be a very, very interesting game. But I'm not sure, John.
Yeah, man, I agree, Zeke. I feel like what's going to be critical for UGA is getting Ryan Brooks going because, listen, they've lost 3 games in a row. Okay, they're 6-6. They went from the number 1 team in the nation to the 7th team in the nation with the quickness. And a big part of that is that the running game just has not been there. The Heisman winner has to step up here in the playoffs if UGA want a shot, especially against what I still consider obviously one of the best teams in the nation. You know, FSU, even though this game was a statement by Utah, FSU have been very consistent with it. I know Coach Kappa is going to want to bounce back and deliver a statement going into the playoffs. So UGA, if you're going into that game, you have to be game planning for getting that running game going and getting points on the board early, or FSU is going to punish you later on.
No, man, I agree with you on that wholeheartedly, which brings us to our last and final matchup, which is going to be deemed the I believe that's the Sugar Bowl. Let me just make sure here. I might be jumping the gun to the next round, but this final game is going to be the Sugar Bowl. So the 4 or 5 matchup is going to be Texas versus Oregon. So number 4 Texas versus number 5 Oregon is going to see Lamar Anderson duking it off with AB and Austin Briley. That is nice. Another good matchup. I feel like these are the best matchups you could get. Like, I feel like this playoff setting is the best teams that could have been, you know, that there could have been the best matchup situations and the best players going at it. And because every matchup is just marquee and it's something to see. And Texas and Oregon's another thriller. Another one where you got Carlos Thompson, you got Tamar Jones, you know, you got Austin, you got Lamar, and you got Lamar coming off a pretty good game last week to end the season. And you also just have Oregon coming off of that loss with a chip on their shoulder, losing that Legends Bowl game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back from a loss. And, man, I just really feel like it'll be a major bounce back win for Oregon. But then losing to Tyon twice in a row, that's going to suck too. So that's going to be a great game, man. What do you got for that one as we close this out, John? What do you got for that?
Yeah, man, I can't wait for that one. Honestly, that's one of the ones I'm most excited to watch. I do think Oregon's going to come out with a big chip on their shoulder, but I think Texas has really started to click again offensively. I think LA's getting in the lab and figuring himself out, and Tyon's finding a good way to scheme him. So I'm going to go ahead and make my prediction now on that one. And this is very rare of me because AB's my boy, but I actually do think Texas is going to pull out the victory in that 4v5 matchup.
All right, you got it here first, guys. You got John taking Texas in the 4v5 matchup. And just for the record, John, if you want to go ahead and Go ahead and lay out your predictions for each matchup in
Ooh,
that
all right.
quarterfinals, if you will, man, just so we can have it down. And then we'll
Yeah,
get up out of
absolutely.
here.
Absolutely. So I think, obviously, I think Utah is going to be Ole Miss. I think it will be a contested game, but I do think the Utes are the best team in the nation, and honestly, I see them climbing their way to a national championship rematch. I think, obviously, in tandem with that, on the other side of the bracket, I think FSU is going to go ahead and defeat UGA. And then in the 3v6, the Bama versus Miami, I'm going to go a little different with it. I'm not taking the favorite. I think Miami's going to show out in that game. After what they did against Notre Dame,
That's your one sleeper?
that's my sleeper. I think PS3 and them boys, Coach CT on that offense has helped figure that out.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Miami's going to be able to go in to Bama and make a statement. I think they're going to come out with that victory. That's my sleeper. What about you, Zeke?
Yeah, I definitely got. I mean, I can't really say, man. I think it's gonna be a tight one. Man, I'ma stay neutral. I'm gonna let you take the heat.
That's
I'm gonna
fair.
let you take it. Texas, Oregon. I figure you taking Texas.
Yep.
I figured that was happening, but because you got your only upset being Miami, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to say I'm around the same lines. I'm an underdog type guy. That's what my dad taught me. Just go for the underdog, son. But
Yep.
I might agree with you. I'm not saying officially, but I think I could say I could agree with you on this here. But what I love as a commission, as a viewer of the league, what I love to see some upsets. Oh, you bet it. You bet it.
Absolutely.
You bet it. But nonetheless, man, we're gonna get out of here. Again, it's your boy Zeke Pruitt. It's your boy John, of course, and conference bowl game here. Icons. Utah is gonna be the champions of the Icons Conference. You guys make sure you tune in with us again here soon. We're gonna have another podcast coming up shortly where we're gonna talk about more things like this headed into the national playoffs with myself, John, and Austin Briley. Maybe a couple of guests. We'll be cammed up, mic'd up, and live. Probably more than likely tomorrow night or Saturday morning. And
Yes, sir.
we'll probably get some national games going. That quarterfinals top half will probably take place either Saturday night or Sunday. And we'll start to get this national thing rolling, get us a national champion, and get the CS3 class rolling in. Again, shout out to you guys that just joined for the College Series 3. We appreciate you guys being members in this league and joining our family. And we can't wait to see you guys on the gridiron. It's your boy Zeke, and I'm signing out. John, talk to him.
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for powering through those technical problems I was having. Obviously, I can't control the weather, but I appreciate my boy Zeke jumping in. Always a pleasure, man. Thank you for being such a great producer. So excited to have all these new boys in the PFL. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube you're watching right now. Can't wait to see the energy coming into the playoffs. Can't wait to be in the chats with all you boys, and can't wait to be up here in the booth and commentate more games. So thank you again for tuning in. It's been a pleasure.